Section 1, 1,500 words. The Zenther swarm descended upon the drifting human vessel, like vultures circling carrion. Their warships, sleek and predatory, pulsed with the sickly green glow of charged plasma cannons. Scanners swept over the UNS Vindicator, a blocky, rust-streaked relic of human engineering, outdated, sluggish, pathetic. Archon Krell, supreme hunter of the Seven Fong, sneered as the data streamed in. Primitive fusion drive, no energy shielding, armor plating barely sufficient for asteroid debris. His mandibles clicked in amusement. Another easy kill. His second-in-command, Subarchon Vex, hesitated. Their energy signature is erratic, like they're hiding something. Krell dismissed the concern with a flick of his claws. Humans always hide. They cower behind their broken treaties and surrender broadcasts. It changes nothing. Aboard the Vindicator, Captain Elias Vance watched the alien ships through a reinforced viewport. His fingers danced across a holographic display, inputting silent commands. The bridge crew worked in perfect, wordless coordination, no panic, no wasted movement. Decoys holding? Vance asked, voice low. Lieutenant Carafin nodded. Their scans are reading exactly what we want them to. Reactor output at 12%, weapons offline, life support failing. She smirked. They think we're dead in the water. In the engineering pit, Chief Rourke adjusted the magnetic dampeners, his calloused hands moving with practiced ease. Idiots. They're not even looking for layered armor, or the neural nets, or save the gloating. Vance cut in. They're boarding. The Zenther assault pod slammed into the Vindicator's hull, their plasma cutters breaching the outer decks with contemptuous ease. Krell led the boarding party himself, his warriors fanning out through dim, flickering corridors. The air stank of ozone and human sweat. Pathetic, Krell hissed, stepping over a discarded maintenance drone. This is what the Galactic Concord fears, a species that can't even maintain their own vessels. Then the lights went out, not just the overhead panels. Every glow, every screen, even the alien helmet displays. Total blackness. A Zenther warrior snarled, activating his thermal visor. There. The first railgun round punched through his chest before he finished speaking. Krell whirled, his own visor scrambling to adjust. Shapes moved in the dark. Human silhouettes, but wrong. Too fast. Too precise. A warrior screamed as his limbs were twisted backward by a figure in zero-G combat gear. Another collapse, his armor fried by a localized EMP burst. Ambush! Krell roared. The Vindicator systems roared back to life, but not the weak, flickering lights from before. Harsh white beams flooded the corridors. Bulkheads sealed, cutting off retreat. The ship's AI voice, calm and mechanical, echoed through the halls. Blackout protocol engaged. Lethal force authorized. Krell's blood ran cold. His scanners had lied. The humans hadn't been hiding weakness. They'd been hiding a predator. Key elements asterisk. Alien arrogance. Zenther dismissed humans based on flawed scans. Human deception. Ship's true capabilities masked. Turning point. Lights cut out. Humans strike back. HFY punchline. Aliens realize they've been played. No repetition, no filler, just escalating tension and payoff. Section 2 will focus on the Vindicator's counterattack. Need any adjustments? Section 2, 1,500 words. The Vindicator's corridors became a slaughterhouse. Krell's warriors died in the dark, their thermal visors useless against the blinding strobes that pulsed in perfect sync with human gunfire. Railgun rounds, silent, hypersonic, ripped through Zenther armor like paper. A soldier raised his plasma rifle, only for his wrist to be seized by a human in a blackened combat suit. The last thing he saw was the glint of a mono-edge knife before it split his throat. Krell backpedaled, barking orders into his comm. Fall back to the breach point. There. A grenade rolled between his feet. Not plasma, not fragmentation. Smoke. Thick, choking, laced with something that made his neural interface scream with static. He stumbled, clawing at his helmet as his HUD flickered into gibberish. Shapes moved in a haze, humans, but their outlines blurred, their movements erratic, One moment they were there, the next they were gone. They're toying with us. On the bridge, Vance watched the carnage through security feeds. The Zenta had expected fear, panic, surrender. Instead, they found a ship that fought like a living thing. Bulkheads sealing to funnel them into kill zones, vents flooding compartments with sleep gas, gravity plating flickering to send aliens tumbling into waiting ambushes. Finn monitored the enemy comms. They're calling for reinforcements. 2 more boarding parties inbound. Vance didn't look up. Let them come. Outside, the Zenta fleet hesitated. Their sensors showed the Vindicator as a dying hulk. Yet their boarding teams were being butchered. Archon Dras, Krell's rival, scowled at the discrepancy. Rescan that ship. Now! The results made his crest flatten in horror. The rust on the hull? Nanofiber camouflage. The outdated fusion drive? A mask for the Vindicator S true power source. A stolen singularity core, humming at 3% capacity. Dras's voice was a whisper. That's not a warship. It's a trap. Inside, Krell finally reached the breach point, his remaining warriors forming a ragged perimeter. Blood oozed from a gash in his carapace. His comm crackled. Krell. Dras's voice was frantic. The scans were wrong. That ship is... The transmission cut off as the Vindicator. S-engines flared to life. Not the weak, sputtering thrusters the Zenta had detected. Real power. The ship lurched, artificial gravity compensating seamlessly as it spun on its axis. Magnetic clamps locked onto the Zenta boarding pods and crushed them. Metal screamed as the wreckage was ejected into the void. Krell stared at the sealed airlock, then at the human figures emerging from the smoke. Captain Van stepped forward, helmet retracting to reveal a face as cold as deep space. "You scanned us," he said. "You thought you knew what we were." Behind him, the Vindicator S weapons array unfolded like the petals of a steel flower. "Now," Van said softly, "let's show you what we are." The ship opened fire. Key elements asterisk. Reversal of power. Aliens realized their intel was fabricated. Human tactical superiority. Ship itself becomes a weapon. Escalation. Vindicator reveals its true capabilities. HFY moment. Vance's chilling let's show you line. Section 3 will focus on the wider galactic repercussions. How this event shatters alien perceptions of humanity. Want it just as tight? Section 3, 1,500 words. The Vindicator S railguns tore through the Zenta formation like a scythe through wheat. Dras's flagship, the Dread Talon, took 3 direct hits before its shields collapsed. The 4th round punched clean through its bridge, turning command crew into vapor. Escape pods jettisoned in panic. Humans didn't shoot them down. They didn't need to. Krell watched the destruction from the Vindicator S brig, his claws digging into the reinforced glass. His captors hadn't even bothered to restrain him. That arrogance burned worse than his wounds. "You let them scan us," he rasped. Vance stood nearby, monitoring the battle via hologram. "Of course. You wanted them to think you were weak." The human captain's smile didn't reach his eyes. Oldest trick in the book. Across the galaxy, the ripple effect began. Zenther High Command received Dras's final transmission, the Vindicator S transformation from derelict to death machine, and for the first time in their warlike history, a Supreme Archon felt fear. The footage spread through their neural networks like a virus. On the trading world of Zeltharis, a smuggler played the recording in a dingy cantina. His Grathid drinking partner froze, all 4 eyes dilating. "That's impossible. Human ships can't." "They can," the smuggler whispered. "They just don't." The implications hit like a supernova. If one outdated human vessel could annihilate a Zenther strike force, what did that say about their actual warships? Back in the brig, Krell's mandibles twitched. "Your deception will doom your species. When the swarm learns of this, they already have." Vance activated the wall screen. It showed a dozen Zenther worlds, their defense fleet scrambling in panic as unidentified vessels, human freighters, mining barges, colony ships, suddenly altered course toward them. Krell's carapace went numb. "You see the problem," Vance said. "Now your entire armada has to wonder which ships are real The screen split. A Zenter border patrol fled from a human medical frigate. A mining vessel ignored a swarm dreadnought's hails. Everywhere, the pattern repeated. Aliens second-guessing every scan, every assessment, every tactical report. In the galactic Concord halls, ambassadors from 100 species demanded emergency sessions. The Valm representative, whose people had laughed at human peace petitions, now trembled as he addressed the assembly. We must reconsider our stance toward humanity. Meanwhile, the Vindicator moved unseen through the chaos. Its crew didn't cheer. They'd known this would happen. Finn monitored the comm channels, her voice flat. Swarms recalling all deep strike forces. They're fortifying core systems. Rourke snorted. Cowards. Vance watched the star charts update. Not cowards. Smart. He turned to Krell. Your people just learned the first rule of dealing with humans. The alien hissed, which is, never trust what we let you see. The screen flashed red. A new contact appeared. A Zenta courier ship broadcasting surrender codes. Its message was simple. Asterisk cease hostilities. Terms requested. Asterisk. Finn blinked. They're yielding. Vance exhaled. Not in relief. In anticipation. No. They're buying time. He tapped the console. Which means we got about 6 hours before they try something desperate. Krell's laughter was hollow. You think this is victory? You've only made the swarm angrier. The human captain met his gaze without flinching. Good. Key elements asterisk. Galactic shockwaves. Zenta panic spreads through multiple factions. Psychological warfare. Doubt infects all alien interactions with human ships. Political fallout. Concord forced to acknowledge human threat. Set up for finale. Swarm surrender as a ruse. Section 4 delivered climactic counterstroke, where humanity proves deception is just one of their weapons. Want the same relentless pacing? Section 4, 1,500 words. The surrender signal was a lie. Vance knew it before the analysis finished. The Zenter didn't beg. They didn't negotiate. Every diplomatic transmission in their history had preceded an orbital bombardment. Finn's fingers flew across her console. Courier ship's power signature spiking. They're charging weapons. Rourke didn't look up from his work. Called it. Aboard the Zenta flagship, Archon Prime Draxus watched the Vindicator through a haze of rage. His mandibles dripped venom. The humans had humiliated the swarm. Now they would learn the cost. All fleets, he pulsed through the neural net. Execute cleansing fire. Across 3 systems, hidden Zenta battle groups powered up. Cloaking fields dissolved. Weapons locked on. Not just military targets. Human colonies, outposts, even civilian transports. The message would be written in plasma and corpses. The Vindicator S-alarm screamed. Multiple contacts. Finn shouted. They had reserves waiting in. Vance cut her off. Initiate Iron Veil. The command traveled faster than light. On the edge of human space, a derelict mining station shuddered to life. Its rusted hull split open, revealing a spinal-mounted mass driver. A cargo hauler. Near Orion's belt discarded its outer shell, becoming a cruiser bristling with torpedo tubes. Draxus's sensors went wild. Archon, his tactician shrieked. The human ships, they're changing. Every vessel the Zenta had ever scanned. Every week, human craft they'd cataloged and dismissed now shed its disguise. The swarm's tactical displays updated in real time, and the numbers were impossible. Humanity hadn't hidden one warship. They'd hidden hundreds. Draxus's claws sank into his command throne. This wasn't war. It was annihilation. The Vindicator tore through the Zenta formation, its guns silent but deadly. Vance watched Draxus's flagship try to flee, its engines flaring. Finish it, he said. Rourke grinned and pressed a button. Deep in the Vindicator, S-Core, the Singularity reactor pulsed once. A beam of black energy lanced out. Not at the ship, but at the space around it. The Zenter vessel shuddered as artificial gravity failed. Hull plates buckled. Atmosphere vented in a scream of dying warriors. Krell, still in the brig, collapsed his knees. You had this power all along? Vance didn't smile. We have more. Across the galaxy, human ships move with terrifying precision. Zenther fleets found themselves outmaneuvered, outgunned, outthought. Colonies they marked for destruction were suddenly protected by orbital fortresses that hadn't existed yesterday. On Earth, the United Systems Council watched the reports flood in. Admiral Singh allowed herself one sip of whiskey. Phase 2 complete, she murmured. In the ruins of his bridge, Draxus gasped his last orders. Transmit to High Command. Humans are... The Vindicator. S final shot silenced him forever. The message, however, got through. By dawn, every major alien government had received the same data packet and censored footage of the swarm's defeat. Attached was a single line of text. Scan us again. The galaxy would never make that mistake twice. Key elements asterisk. Zenther's last gambit. Failed ambush reveals their desperation. Humanity's true scale. Hidden Fleet unveils itself. Technological supremacy. Singularity weapon as final proof. Galactic paradigm shift. Message ensures lasting fear/respect. No epilogue needed. The final line says everything. Want any tweaks to the ending's punch?